Hello everyone, this is what we're going to do today. So we're gonna create this kind of monogram type symbol in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and then we're gonna move it to Photoshop and we're gonna export as a video clip. So let me show you the final product, which is this. It's an MP4 file, HD quality, and then the animation is pretty smooth. Okay, so we may use that for a potential kind of promo videos or intro movie for something. Okay, so I'm not gonna skip any single step. So please follow as I do, and then this is not that hard. Okay, so from the Illustrator to Photoshop, and then at the end of this tutorial, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to make the same video as I have now. Okay, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, and then set the alarms for my latest video. And let's get started. Okay, so let's make this logo, monogram type logo in Illustrator first. So let me zoom out. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside. Okay, so first, please choose line tool and set your foreground and fill color to nothing, and then a stroke color in black. Then set your stroke weight down to the lightest line, thinnest one. Okay, then hold down the shift key on your keyboard and draw the vertical line about this length, or something like this. Okay, then now change your tool to a regular selection tool. Select your line, hold down the Option key, and you see that double arrow has, meaning we're making a copy. Keep pressing your mouse button, and I want to move it horizontally, so hold down the Shift key. So Option, click, and Shift, and drag it. Maybe about that much. Once it is done, we need 10 lines total. So do not release your selection, and hold down the Command key on your keyboard and hit the D key. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 lines. So Command D. It will repeat your duplication. Select all lines using your selection tool and under Object menu and group it. Okay, so this is one group. So we have one. I'm going to make another copy of this whole group. So hold down the Option again. Hover your mouse cursor on the line. Once you see the double arrowheads, keep pressing your mouse button, Shift, and drag it. So we have a copy. Next, on your toolbox, please choose Rotate tool. Rotate. We're going to rotate it. Double click, make sure your second group is selected already. Then double click your Rotate tool on your toolbox directly and rotate it 120 degree and say OK. And we're going to need one more. Keep pressing your Rotate tool in your toolbox, then you will see that another tool is called a Reflect tool. Reflect. And double click your Reflect tool on your toolbox. Check vertical axis, and we're gonna copy. Not OK, copy. So we have another one. So there are 3 groups of lines. 1, 2, 3. Select everything, all, and open Align panel. If you do not see this Align panel, it is under Windows menu and Align. So all the panels and the toolboxes I have on right, it is under Windows menu. So Align. Then choose Align to this, the selection. Then select Horizontal Align Center and Vertical as well. So it is all centered. Alright, now we are ready to build the shape. Let me zoom in about this size. Okay, now your lines are selected. Then choose your shape builder tool. If you do not see this, make sure you go to Windows menu, toolbars, make sure you're choosing advanced, not the basic, advanced one. Now shape builder, I'm going to start from here. When you hover on each section, you see that there's mesh, meaning each segment is a kind of a selection, and we can combine, we can link it. So keep pressing your mouse button on this first hexagon on top and drag it to the next piece, just like that. Okay, so they are one shape now, but it is white, so it is kind of a little hard to see it. I'm going to switch my fill color to black and no stroke color, and watch. So it's black. So keep linking like that. Okay, keep going, keep going, and this direction, there and there. Yeah, just to follow as I do, and then keep linking to the center like that, to the bottom, and this direction. So we're making kind of the fake cube or the 3D shape. And I go that way. Okay. And also we're going to link this piece as well. Black. And there. And this. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Let me zoom out. Okay. Now, go to Object menu and ungroup it. Ungroup. Now select this little piece. Hold down the Shift key and click on this big black piece. So we select both. I'm going to put this away temporarily. Let me delete all the lines. Now we don't need them. We just use them as a kind of guidelines. I'm going to put this back to the center. Okay, and let me zoom in. And as you can see, let me switch my tool to this direct selection, to this white arrow. You see there are a lot of kind of anchor points on the lines. They're everywhere. Those anchor points are not necessary. So let's make it simpler. Please choose your delete anchor point tool, minus pen tool, and then click on each anchor point. Okay, so I think now it is much simpler and clean. Let me double check. Yep, there is no any unnecessary anchor point on the lines. Yep, it is clean. So now I'm going to round this corner here. So make sure you're choosing direct selection tool and click on this first corner anchor point there. You see that the anchor point is filled in blue, and hold down the Shift key. I'm going to keep adding my selection. This point, that, and that, this. Okay. And this one too. So the anchor point I selected has the kind of little tiny circle on each point, meaning those anchor points are selected. So choose one of them and keep pressing your mouse button. You'll see that kind of little upside down arc next to your mouse cursor, and keep pressing and drag it. See? So we can have a rounded corner. Right. We're almost there. And then I want to round this corner, that here, this right bottom, and the top right as well. So let me choose that anchor point and hold down the shift key, and this one and that one. And as we did, place your mouse cursor on the one of this circle. See the upside down arc. Hold down, keep pressing your mouse button and push, drag it until we have a good rounded corner. Yep. So I think we're getting in there. We're almost done. Okay, now let me zoom out a little bit. Okay. Now next thing is, let me draw one hexagon behind. So please choose your the polygon tool and make sure just black fill and no stroke. And click somewhere. Radius value doesn't matter. And then the sides, numbers of sides, we're going to have 6 different sides because it is going to be a hexagon. Okay. So that is this. Let me rotate it. Place your mouse cursor closer to the anchor point, the corner. You see that kind of a bend mouse cursor, meaning now I can rotate it. See? Hold down the shift key. Then we can rotate 45 degree and 90 degree. So let me rotate once and twice. Okay, just like that. And then I want to change this shape, this logo, in white because we want to have it on top of this hexagon. So first, make sure white fill and no stroke. Okay, and see what happens. See, that white shape is kind of it's hidden, it's behind this hexagon. So what I need to do is select my hexagon, go to object menu, arrange it, and send to back. So it goes back like this. Okay. Now select your white pieces, the two pieces, this one and that one, by holding down the shift key, and group it. Object and group. So now we have one group this black and second group is this white. Okay, select both. Now open Align panel again. I'm gonna center it like this. Yep. So it looks good. Now select your the big hexagon behind. I'm going to reduce the size. I want to keep the kind of a same this kind of black stroke here. So hold down the Option key, place your mouse cursor on that point, keep pressing your mouse button and hold down the Shift key so we can keep the same proportion. So drag it. And I'm gonna stop somewhere, maybe here. So it looks good. Deselect. Now select your white arrow, direct selection tool. Click on the inside of your hexagon. You see that the little triangle, the circles. Choose one of them and round the corner. Like that. Yes. We're almost done. And see what happens. So for now, this is the other one I made already. So that white area is not white. this is empty. But this one has white fill. We may keep it as it is, but for the logo design, it would be better to delete the white area because it is more flexible. It is more compatible with the other background images later. So let's do this. Select everything. Then white is on top, black on bottom. Open Pathfinder. Pathfinder is also under Windows menu and Pathfinder. And in your Pathfinder, on top row, choose the second option, minus front. See? It punches. It cuts out. So this is what we need. All right. Now let's move on to Photoshop. Please download the image. Please download the image. I made a link in my description. And that is this file. So open the image in your Photoshop and we're going to crop it into a certain size. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move that logo we designed in Illustrator and we're going to move it to Photoshop. And we're going to make as a kind of really simple intro video. So now, first thing is choose your crop tool and then please choose not the ratio option, choose the width, height, and resolution. And please crop it into this size, 1280 pixel by 720 pixel and 72 dpi. This dimension is the kind of HD quality. So 1280 by 720. Choose the area you want to crop and hit the return. So that's the size. Now I'm back to Illustrator. Select your symbol. Copy, Command C, and back to Photoshop, and Command V, paste it as pixels, the third options. Okay. And I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Hold down the Option key so I can keep the same proportion, maybe about that size. Don't worry about the color. And once it looks good, and hit the Return key. Now I'm choosing my selection tool. I may move it up or down, anything. Okay, so far it's good. And the next step is I want to have some kind of texture on this. This is so flat. So what I did was, if you go to Windows menu, you will see that layer styles. Maybe your computer may have a different looking. You may have just a kind of a basic, just a default layer styles already in Photoshop, but I downloaded some more. So I will show you the texture I was using, like this. Isn't it cool? Okay, so go to a website, brushlovers.com. I already have this. brushlovers.com, and go to styles, and then there are a lot of styles you can use for free, and then mine was on page number 3, and you will see that this iron layer style. So click on it, click on the free download, choose free download. It starts downloading. It goes to your download folder. Once download is completed, and unzip it because this is a zip file, you will see that this folder, free icon styles, blah blah blah, and then in that folder there are multiple files, and you will see one file. Let me just double click it, open it. You will see one file is called something.asl. The 3 extensions, ASL. That's the file we need. So make sure you have that. Now let me go back to Photoshop. I will show you how to import that style to your palette. So open your styles palette again. Go to the hamburger button for the drop down menu. Click on it. Then choose import styles. Import. And as we saw that my style is on my download folder, and that was free something. Look at my folder. That's too many files. I need to do some housekeeping. Yeah, free ion. See that ASL? That's the only file you can select now. Just choose open. I'm not gonna do it because I already have one. Okay, so see? So there are multiple choices. If you do not see it, it may look like this. So make sure your free Photoshop Ion style, and you will see the thumbnails. Okay. And the next step is, it's okay, but we can still customize it. So let me put my layers panel up here. Once you apply that layer style, you will see that there are lots of sub layers for the different layer style. Then I want to change the pattern overlay for now. So I'll double click your pattern overlay layer, and then there's some options. I can make it bigger, see, or I can make it smaller. So you can see that kind of repetition. I think that was too small. Or even you can change the angle like that. So it's your choice. So I'm okay with that, and say okay. And also I want to change the drop shadow option. So on this the sub layers, you will see the drop shadow. Double click on it, and let me change the this drop shadow option. Blend mode, I want to change it to normal, and then I want to change the opacity value up to 100, and then I want to have a little more distance. Also I want to have different angle from the top left, maybe like this. No, maybe that direction. Okay, you can control the distance, further, closer. You can control spread, and you can make it bigger. Okay, I think that's too far. I think I'm okay with that, and say okay. Okay, and I also still I can reposition it maybe a little up because I want to have a text. So now the text, so let me say that this is a kind of hypothetical company, and then as you can see that there is a kind of letters I can see, N here and F letters here. So I would just name it as a nature factory. I don't know what they're doing, maybe something kind of the technology related or IT or something. So let me choose my type tool, and I'm gonna type nature factory. Okay, so choose any kind of appropriate your typographic choice. Okay, so it is centered. I'm gonna keep white text, but I want to have some kind of outer glowing so I can read it better. So select your text layer. In your layers panel on the bottom, you will see that layer style. Click on it. Let me choose the outer glow. Okay. Blend mode, I'm gonna choose normal, and then opacity value maybe 100. And the color is not good. White on white is not good. So I'm going to choose kind of dark green because it is kind of there's a lot of greens in this photo. So let me choose really dark, very dark green, and then I want to spread more, want to make it bigger, maybe something like that. Okay, and okay. Okay, so I think we are getting in there. So this is kind of my basic layout. I want to move this up a little bit more, like that. Okay, so I'm happy. It looks good to me. Yep. Okay. Now it's time to animate. So go to Windows menu and choose Timeline panel. Timeline. You'll see this. Let me double click my hand tool so it fits. I'm gonna pull this up a little bit more. Okay. And then once you open timeline, there are two options: create video timeline or create frame animation. Choose the first one, create video timeline, and click on this button, this text. Now you will see this. It looks kind of a little weird. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change my layer settings here and watch and compare this layers panel and this timeline. So first the thing is, I want to unlock my background layer. Let me unlock it. See, one more layer is added. So meaning we can add some more things on it. Okay. And then text layer, the logo layer. Let me rename it as a logo. Logo layer. And now each layer has some options. Position, opacity, style. Same thing. Okay. But what I want to do is I want to convert each layer as a smart object. It will have some more choices. So at the very bottom one, let me rename it first as a BG, background. So my background layer, go to drop down menu and choose convert to smart object. Now we have the transform option, meaning we can rescale, we can rotate it, we can do something more as a smart object. I'll do the same thing for my logo layer. Convert to smart object. Let me do the same thing. Convert to smart object. Okay. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Okay. And now, next thing is, as I showed you at the very beginning from the video starts with a kind of a clouds, kind of foggy. And then the clouds kind of fade away, and then we see the logo. We'll do that thing. But the easiest way is now go to brushlovers.com again, so we can download some clouds. So just type clouds, search. Yeah, there are so many choices. Let me just choose this one, 24 clouds. Okay. And then click on free download. It goes to your download folder. Unzip it. 24 clouds. And open that folder. You will see that a file name is called something.abr. So that's the one we need. And I'm going to show you how to import it to your brush in Photoshop. So back to Photoshop. I'm going to choose my paintbrush, and then click there, then click on the in the brushes option, the settings, and import styles. Import. Nothing's happening yet, but once you import the style, you'll see that 24 clouds and ABR. Okay, so I'm not gonna say okay because I already have it. So once you hit open here, then you will see your clouds in your brush panel. Okay, I have a lot. So now what I'm going to do is, let me create a new layer on top. You see that? In your timeline, you see another layer as well, another channel. Now I'm going to choose, let me set my foreground color in white, and then let me choose maybe one of this cloud. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and even bigger. Or, yep, like that. Okay, I'm okay with that. Let me make another new layer on top. This time I'm going to have another cloud on right. Let me choose a different type of cloud. Maybe something like this. Or what about that? I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, something like that. Okay, so now we're ready to move something. But before we do that, I'm going to convert those clouds layers as a smart object as well. And this one too. Convert to smart object. And let me rename it. So this is a background layer, logo layer, nature factory text layer. That is cloud number 1. And then I will rename it as a cloud number 2 so I can tell. Alright, so 5 layers total and 5 layers in your timeline. Now we can do something. So first, let me hide, excuse me, top 2 layers. I'm going to hide it for now, temporarily. Let me do something from the other very bottom layer first. So, in your timeline, there are some options. I'm just gonna change the size. So first, this blue tab thing is a playback head. Place this at the very beginning. Then click on this transform stopwatch. Click on it. You see the yellow diamonds. That's the first keyframe. I'm gonna move this playhead to the end. And let me insert another keyframe in this transform panel by clicking the empty diamond. Now you can see another diamond here. So we have 2 keyframes, beginning at the end, departure and destination. So I moved my playback head to the very beginning. I'm selecting my first keyframe. See? I'm going to resize it. So Command T, transform. You see the guidelines. Place your mouse cursor on the corner. See the diagonal arrows. Then hold down the Option key and make it not too much. Maybe just slightly, like that. Once you're okay, hit the Return key and see what happens. It's kind of getting smaller, but very slowly. See? Okay. So this is what happens now. Now next, I want to animate my logo. So let me collapse this, go to logos layer. I'll do that, but I need to have some kind of plan. So my plan is, so background is kind of getting smaller. So I want to have kind of opposite. So logo's kind of getting bigger. So it will create some kind of a dolly zoom effect. Okay. So first, this playhead at the very beginning, click on the transform stopwatch. See the first keyframe, yellow diamond. And then I'm going to move it to 1 second mark and insert another keyframe. Okay, so first thing is, what I'm gonna do is, let me move my playhead to the beginning and select my first keyframe. I'm gonna make it smaller. Command T again, say the guidelines, hold down the option and make it smaller. Maybe about this size. And hit the return key. And you will see this happens. See? Okay. And after this, after the first keyframe in here, I want to make it a little bit smaller than this. So select your second keyframe on 1 second mark, Command T, make it a little bit smaller, not too much. Hit the return. So this happens. And then at the end, let me insert another keyframe. Okay, and from there, highlight the last keyframe. Oops, this yellow diamond. It is selected already. And Command T again. This time I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. And return. So what's gonna happen is, as we play it, it's getting bigger a little quicker and even bigger very slowly. So watch this. See? So background is zooming out, but the logo is kind of zooming in. It's the opposite camera movement. Okay, and I want to do some more. This time, on the first keyframe, I want to rotate it. So select your first keyframe again, and Command T for transform, and then when you move your mouse cursor on that corner, not on that point, see? The mouse cursor has a kind of a band shape, meaning I can rotate it like this. Let me hold down the Shift key. So I want to rotate maybe like this, 180. And hit the return. And watch. It is spinning and getting bigger. Okay, isn't it cool? And also, I want to make some more changes, like a fading in effect. So on my first keyframe, you see the opacity option. Click on the opacity stopwatch. See that the first keyframe here. Then, in your layers panel, the logo layer is selected, and change your opacity value down to 0. So it's gone. Now let me move it to 1 second mark, and I'm inserting another keyframe by clicking this. Now let me change my opacity value back to 100. So it is rotating, getting bigger, and fading. This happens. Okay. Okay. Now I want to do something about the my text. So let me collapse this. I'm back to my now I'm on Nature Factory, the text layer. I just want to change the size and the opacity value. So transform stopwatch on at the very beginning, and let me move it to a 1 second mark and another keyframe by clicking this diamond. So we have 2 keyframes. First keyframe, I'm gonna make it slightly bigger. Command T, and let me hold down the Option key and make it slightly bigger. And hit the return. And this happens. Okay. Also, I want to have that fade in effect. So at the very beginning, place this blue tab at the beginning. Click on the opacity stopwatch. And in your layers panel, change the opacity value down to 0. So we start from the 0% of opacity value. On 1 second mark, insert another opacity keyframe. Then move back to 100. So Nature Factory, the text is fading in and getting smaller. So this happens. Let me play it. See? But my logo is still getting bigger, and then my background is still getting smaller. Right. Okay. Now the last two thing is there are two clouds layers. Let me rewind it. See? So we start from there. So my goal is, as my logos is kind of coming in, it's like kind of opening the gate. These two clouds will be kind of moving to the left and the right and fading out. So that's the plan. So let's do that from the left clouds. So my left clouds is this one. This is a right one. Okay, so left one. Choose that layer. See the same options here. So first, excuse me, transform at the beginning. Just leave it as it is. And I'm gonna move it to 1 second mark again. Or let me do a 2 second mark. Now just 1 second mark. And insert the keyframe. Okay, so nothing's happening yet. Excuse me. On 1 second mark on your second keyframe, select your cloud. Make sure you're choosing the regular selection tool and move away out of your stage. Like that. So it's gone. See? If it is too fast, you can move the position of this up to maybe 3 seconds or 2 seconds. It's up to you. I think that works better. Okay, now let me change. I may change the opacity value, or I don't have to, but let's try that. At the very beginning, click on this opacity stopwatch. I will keep it as 100%. On 2 second mark, insert another keyframe on opacity layer. Then let me change the opacity value down to 0. So it is anyway moving out, but it is fading out at the same time. Like that. Okay. Now I will do the same thing for my the top clouds, another clouds to the right. Let me zoom out a little bit. I'm going to move my layers panel to this direction. Then I'll do the same thing. There are more options. At the very beginning, insert transform keyframe by clicking on this stopwatch. Now on 2 second mark, insert another keyframe. Then on that second keyframe, choose your selection tool and move your clouds to the right. So it's gone. See? Also, I will change the opacity value. At the very beginning, click on the opacity stopwatch for the first keyframe and move your playhead to the second keyframe and insert another opacity keyframe. Then, in your layer, change the opacity value down to 0. So this happens, watch. That's pretty cool. See? Let me move my layers panel down here and watch again. Play. If you want to move your clouds even slower, then we can always do this. Transform, and then opacity value thing. I'm going to move the second keyframe this time up to 3-second mark. Let me do the same thing for my first clouds. Select the transform second keyframe, hold down the shift key, and click on the opacity keyframe, and move it up to 3-second mark. And watch. Play it. So now clouds is kind of fading away slower. It's much smoother now. Yes. Okay. So it looks good. Okay. I'm going to save it first. Save as just the PSD file, Photoshop generic file. Waterfalls.psd. Or let me rename it as a nature factory. Nature _ factory. Okay. Now let's export this as a video file. But before you do that, make sure your media encoder is open. Adobe Media Encoder. That looks like under my applications, Adobe Media Encoder. Make sure this is open. Okay, now go to File, Export, and Render Video. File, Export, Render Video. Then name, I'm gonna keep it Nature Factory, and it will have the MP4 extension. And select a folder. Yeah, that's my destination. So choose your destination where you want to save it. Then Adobe Media Encoder. That's why we opened the Adobe Media Encoder. Then format H.264. That's the web streaming, the file format. And then preset. I'm gonna keep this YouTube HD 720. Yep. And the size is as it is. And I think now it looks okay. And start render. So it is done. So let me check my folder. Yep, I have an MP4 file. Let me play it. Yeah, it's very smooth. So 5-second animation. Let me play again. See? So it starts from here. So clouds is kind of moving away and fading away at the same time. Logos spinning and getting bigger and fading in. And the Nature Factory, the text is fading in. Also, the background is kind of getting smaller. So this is what's happening. Just like that. Okay, so that's it. Hope you liked it. And then if I miss any steps or if you have any questions, please leave a message. And then I'll be happy to answer that. So thanks for watching and see you next time.